Welcome back to Bill's Workbench. I've got the ME18 back on the workbench today. We're going to get the electronics working, and I want to show you what each of these parts are and how they interact with each other. That way you can build your own model and figure out how to get the electronics to work. A few parts to the electronics. We have two parts installed already in the model. We have the motor, which in this case is a brushless Venom motor from Furatech. And then we also have the servo installed as well. I have this front piece off because I need to adjust the servo, because right now I don't know where center is on the servo, and that's part of what I need to figure out. We have the electronic speed control, which is right here. This is a Furatech electronic speed control. It came with a kit with the motor. The electronic speed control has 3 connections on it, even though you only see 2 here. This connection here, this connects to the radio, which is right here. This connection connects to the battery. And then in the back right here, this connection connects to the motor. On a brushless motor, you have 3 connections. On a brushed motor, you have only 2 connections. We have the battery, which you should be familiar with. The battery has 3 connections on it in this case because this is a 2S or 2-cell battery. And the reason it has 3 connections is so that when you charge it with the right charger, it can balance the 2 cells so that both of the cells charge up to the same amount when they're finished. And the way that works is it has the 3 wires. So it has the one wire that goes to one of the cells, this goes to the other cell, and then this is the common ground between them. When you only use the 2 outside wires, it's using the full 8 point whatever or 7.4 volts. This is the radio. In this case, I'm using a radio link radio because I have a radio link transmitter right here. This is a receiver, this is a transmitter. Why am I going to that and not using the one that came with the TRX4M from Texas? Well, I'm tired of carrying around 20 radios to the crawl park or to the out and about. I want to carry 1 radio. In my case, I'm carrying 2 radios. I'm carrying this radio for my crawlers, and I'm carrying the Noble MB4 Plus for my race cars. So let's see. We have a connector here. This connector goes to the servo, and the connectors are black, red, and white. Black is ground or negative. Red is the positive voltage in, and then white is the signal. On the motor, we have 3 connections as well for A, B, and C. And then we have this one, which goes to the lights, and it only really connects to the black and the red. The same ones here, and those are the power. So there's no on and off for the lights on this. They turn on when the car turns on. Let's connect everything, shall we? Channel 1 is steering. And on this receiver, you're going to look at the thing here. And that's going to show you like a square wave thing. That is for signal. And then you have a plus and a minus. So the black wire goes towards the outside edge. And the white wire goes towards the inside. So get that plugged in there. Now we have that. We'll plug in the speed control. Now the speed control is yellow, black, and black. I don't know why they do that, but they do. The yellow one is probably the yellow one is the signal. So we'll put that on the side here like that. And then we have the lights, and the lights go in so that the black is on the outside like so. Okay, so now I have everything plugged into the radio. I need to plug in the motor now, so I'll get that plugged in to here. And if you look at the connectors, you can see that the pins are towards the top. That is a JST style connector. So you want to look at this and see the pins are towards the top. That's how those connect in. Voila, that is connected. What else do I need to connect? Just the battery. But before I do the battery, I got 2 things I need to do. One, I need to disconnect the servo horn, because I don't know if this thing's going to fly one side or the other and get to the locks and burn out the servo. So I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to unscrew the servo horn first. Now the servo horn is disconnected and that's ready to go. I want to get the radio ready. Let's do that. So we'll turn on the radio. And on the radio, I want to press the 2 outside buttons, and that'll take me into the setup menu on this particular radio. I'm going to go with the minus button or the plus button, whatever, and I want to look for model. Probably should have used the other button because it looked like it's towards the top. There it is. It's the second one. I could have done a lot less clicks if I just pressed the plus instead of the minus. But it is what it is. So I'll hit enter. I want to go down, up. I want to go that way. Model 4. I'll do enter again. And now model 4 is the model. I'm going to do exit. Let's see if we can find where we change the name of that model. Name 18. So I'll hit enter. Model 4. It's up because model 4 is selected. That's the one it is. So this is going to be M. So I'll do enter. So I'll do a MEUS 18, which is the scale. And then I'll hit exit. And exit again. And it should say MEUS 18 at the top. Good. I want my steering to be 0 and I want my throttle to be 0. Those should be at 0. The next thing I want to check is I want to make sure they're set to 100%. So I'll go back into settings and I'll go into EPA. Steering is at 120. That's fine. Throttle is 100. That's the one I'm mainly worried about. Because if that wasn't, then when I turn on the electronic speed control, it's not going to calibrate itself correctly. So now I'm ready to go. I've got the transmitter set up. I have a new model configured. I have it set to 0, left and right. I have the EXP set to where I want it to go. I'm ready to turn this thing on. Let's see what happens. I got lights. You can see those work. These work. I have servo. And I have, oh, the throttle is backwards. Okay, so we're going to check to see if we can change it in the speed control or if I change it in the radio. You can change it in both, but I would rather change it in the speed control. All right, so let's get the steering working. So to do that, I'm going to make sure my steering is at 0, which it is. Then I'll get my wheels so that they look straight to me. And then we'll connect the servo arm to it. There we go. And it isn't straight because it's the way it is. I can either go this way or I can go over like this way. Now that one's going in that way. Yeah, it is what it is. That's the way these things are because of the way the number of teeth that are on that servo. If it had more teeth, then I would have more control over where it sits and if it's straight. The other thing I could do, if I really wanted to, is I could adjust this piece and unscrew it. This piece right here, this is the piece that connects to the servo. I can make that longer or shorter, and that would in essence do the same thing. But I can use my trim to fix that. Before I do though, I want to see how far this thing turns. Be careful and see how far it goes. It's almost perfect. That works out well. I'm happy with that. It's not hitting the stops until I get all the way to the end. It's like it was made for this thing. By golly, that's a miracle. That's like one of the first ones that's ever done that. That just shows you the quality of the engineering of this MEUS ME18. Alright, let's screw this back up. Alright, before I go through and change this to go forwards instead of backwards, I want to look at the remote to make sure it's not in reverse. So I'll go back to settings and I will go down to reverse, and the steering is normal and the throttle is normal. So that means they are not reversed in the radio. So that means I need to check and see if this electronic speed control has Bluetooth. It's a crawler, it's brushless, it's a Venom motor, it doesn't have any temperature yet. That is wonderful. So you can change the mode if you want to go forward, reverse with brake, or just forward and brake if you want to do that. You can change the voltage of the servo. This servo will go up to higher voltage, but I have lights. I don't want to blow the lights out, so I'm going to keep the voltage the same. Rotation direction, let's change it to clockwise. And let's see if that fixed it. There we go. Now we're well. Oh, that's because it's on. Why are you mad now? What did I do? What did I do? That doesn't sound good at all. But it is going the right way. Let's go. I'm going to go ahead and figure out where that noise is coming from. Hopefully it's something easy. And I'll let you know what it is. Okay, what I ended up doing was swapping out these gears with some other metal gears that I had that were not the low range ones. So I tackled two birds with one stone, if you will. I got the gearing higher and I got the horrible noise to stop. Alright, now we need to just mount these with double stick tape where we want to mount them. And that's and get the wires to look nice. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm not going to bore you with that. I'll show you the results. Alright, by the grace of God and that long-handled spoon, I got it all back in there. I've done worse jobs in wiring and I've done better jobs in wiring. But all of the wire stuff is there. On this side is pretty clean, which is good because the switch to turn it off and on is right down in here. So that's good. I have this wire come up here for the battery. I can throw the battery in here. Plug that in. And we have steering and forward and reverse. Look at that. And the lights are working. Whew. It's a miracle. Let's put this on. Push that down. Get in there and turn that little doodad. Look at that. Whew. It is working. How does it? Not bad, not too fast. Whoa! It goes fast in the reverse. So we need to fix that. Alright, this is take 2 of the crawling test. I moved the shock positions from way in the back, from the second to the back to the second to the front. And then on this one, I moved it from the middle second to the back to the bottom second to the back. Or I'm sorry. I moved it from the middle second to the front to the lower second to the back. Alright, let's give it a try. before, when I went up this part right here real slow, it would get hung up. Let's see. The flex is about the same as it was. I'm pretty much maxed out right there. Whoa! Now what are we going to do? It's not getting bottomed out as bad, but it's still having a hard time. That servo sure has a lot of torque, though. I'll give it that. Just traction? Yeah, it's just traction. All right, let's try it from the other direction. Try a different line. That was my fault. I did not have a good line. Try it again. Oh, I was watching the rear end instead of the front end. Alright, well, here we go. And this thing's got a lot of torque. Let me know what you think. Do you think it's worth the work to make this work? It's not really that much of an investment. I think it was like $40 or something. But yeah, I think it makes it a much more interesting crawler. I'm happy with it. I'm happy with this change. Let me know your thoughts down there in the comments, and happy crawling.